Hello, everybody. My name is Zahra, and I will be your host for tonight. Welcome to Tauke Talks. This is a series of sharing sessions where we invite local Taukes to share about their experiences in different topics surrounding entrepreneurship in Malaysia. So this sharing session is brought to you by RYSE, a Malaysian research and social outreach project that empowers youth through entrepreneurship and employability programs. RYSE is also supported by Citi Foundation. So this year, we are aiming to highlight a series of talks addressing different issues or topics in starting and sustaining their business. We hope that these sharing sessions will encourage fellow budding entrepreneurs to continue preserving their dreams of building a business, especially in Malaysia. So without further ado, I am happy to welcome our guests for today, Larry from Soon Heng and Isa from BakedKL. Welcome to Tauke Talks.
Hi.
We are honored to have you both today.
Thank you. I would like to introduce myself first. I'm Isa from BakedKL. So what we do is we make desserts online, and they're mostly based on dietary and allergy requirements. So you can get diabetic friendly cakes that are vegan, cakes that are gluten-free, and we also help to spread awareness on mental health as well.
Larry, would you like to go next?
So, hi guys, I'm the co-founder of Soon Heng. So Jack is my brother. Both of us founded Soon Heng 3 years ago, and then we are an underground social club, private dining in KL. So we only serve limited seats per week. Operates only on Friday and Saturday through online booking. Yeah.
So we'll go straight into our questions for our panel talk this evening. So for the first question, if you could rate how important customer engagement is for your business, with 1 being not so important and 10 being very important, what would you rate it?
I'll go first. Customer engagement, I think, is very important, but of course it has to align with other aspects of the business, right? But I think it's very important because especially online these days, your customer demands faster response, and they want things really quick. So you can't go traditional methods anymore. You have to do everything online mostly. And customer engagement is already it's usually face-to-face would work better, but because it's online, it's actually harder, and you have to do it in a shorter span of time. So I think it's important because everyone's online, and that's the only way that you can sort of engage with your customers.
So because you said something about the traditional methods, what do you mean by the traditional methods?
I mean, for my business, traditional means that I would have a brick and mortar store, like a cafe or things like that. But we operate mainly just online, and maybe seasonally we do pop-ups, but most of our interactions with our customers are online and through newsletters and messaging. But that's about it, actually. Yeah.
So Larry, back to the question. If you could rate how important customer engagement is for your business, how would you rate it?
To Soon Heng, actually, we rate it 10 because we are solely through online, and you can't even locate our geotag. So everything is through Instagram. And then the way we post, communicate our stories to our members, so-called our customers, we call them members, everyone to come into the club. They have to feel engaged with our brand, the way we do things. So to the people that they like us, they will stay. And those that are not comfortable with the way we speak ourselves or be the real us, they will leave. But for the people that they feel they can get so close with Soon Heng, they will enjoy our way of communication. Especially we will do stories like Q&A. So we will have a very fun chit chat session during stories.
So because both of you mentioned about online engagement, how is that different compared to physical engagement? Do you have a different tone of voice online or maybe a different personality online?
To Soon Heng, actually, we are using the same same way of talking. Yeah, we kind of rude. We kind of rude. And then when they come to dine, actually we do the same. So actually our customers enjoy that. they want that. So yeah, we are just being us.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very important to have like a connection, right, between your online and offline personality, because you can't have different than it's a bit of a disconnection for your brand. So for us also, like however we talk to our customers online is also the same when we do our pop-ups and things like that. Yeah. And also I think it helps with brand trust as well. So when they know how you talk and they resonate with your brand, then it's easier for you to reel them in for like next time purchases or next time visiting your restaurant.
Okay, so I guess you sort of touched about that, and like, why exactly is it important customer engagement for your business?
Larry, would you like to go first? Sorry.
Well, I think it's about building the trust of where they are willing to come to go through the process of Soon Heng, because we are a social club, the underground social club. So they have no clue where they are going. They have no clue of what they are eating for the next month menu. So they have to kind of have certain trust that they won't get into trouble, or they won't get into like a scam, or they will have a robbery when they found our place. So we have to build trust through the engagement. Yeah, when we even do DMs, which we communicate with our so-called members, we will be like their friends. Yeah, that's how we build the trust between each other.
For me, it's important because we sell cakes based on dietary and allergy requirements, right? So we have to be really sensitive about ingredients, and we also do baby-friendly cakes. So there's actual babies that are involved and their food sensitivities. So it's important for us to communicate and be very thorough and honest in everything that we do. So even like our website, we put in details such as like a long ass disclaimer of what you would expect a cake to be without eggs or dairy or things like that. And then we put in ingredients, and then we have some info that's important, like shelf life and how to store these cakes. So I think in a way, because our branding is more inspired by my family, my daughter, and things like that, it's very important to have customer engagement that is also honest. So when they purchase from you, they know everything is all good and they can trust your brand.
So both of you do talk about trusting your customers. So is there a certain type of customer that you believe your brand should be engaged the most?
For me personally, for BakedKL, I don't think there's a specific type of customer that I should be engaged more. I think whatever potential customer that pass by online, we would engage just the same way. But I think the important thing to note is that as you are starting your own business, if that particular customer doesn't want to buy your products, it's not your fault. It's just not the right customer for your brand. And I think sometimes it's also heaven sent because there are problematic customers that do come. So it's all right to kind of like walk away, or the customer walk away from your brand. It's just a mismatch, and it's just fine, because you can't gather every customer segment in the market, unless you're selling something like, I don't know, a tissue or something like that. But if you're very like unique, then of course not all the markets are your market.
Larry, would you like to continue your perspective?
So to us, it's actually, we want to filter out those customers that are very bossy, that they think, oh, I have money, then I'm the king. I came to your place, you want to serve me like a the highness, So we want that customers to leave, to go away. We don't want that kind of customer. We want customers that enjoy the experience that we will provide, enjoy the service, enjoy the food, the environment. Even just a short night of 2 hours, they come and eat, and then we can talk. That's the customer we want. So we actually experienced those very so-called annoying customers before, and then they are very rude. At last they will just okay, the door is open, you can just go away, and it's okay, because we through the filtering or through the engagement of how we talk with the customers, they will somehow at the end narrow down the funnel, and then those people that like us, they will like us. That's the people, the customers that we want.
So because you talk about these annoying customers, how would you deal with these hard customers, or how would you engage with them when they actually come in?
We will try to be as polite. We will try to be as polite, and then we will try to speak out our mind in a indirect way that won't hurt both parties. But then we will let them know, like maybe it's not too suitable for you, right? Or you can, it's your option. You can go, or you want to stay. So it's fine. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I must earn your money. No. We don't do that. Yeah. We want the person to like fully engage, fully respond, or even feel comfortable with us.
Yeah. So what if these customers, if they do come in, and let's say you already serve your service, and then they leave halfway, do you still expect them to pay or contribute to the business?
We'll do our best. We will serve, but then we don't talk much. They will just come and eat, and then we don't talk much. Your face is so black, and then my face is black as well. We don't talk much. You just finish your food, and then you pay, then you go. That's all. Because now we found out that there are many people, they think that they are so rich, they will have a lot of like pattern, but the real behave people, they will be so nice and polite. There are two different kind of customers we always gonna.
Yeah, definitely. So the same question for Isa. Are there any actually winning strategies that you would like to care to share for somebody who's maybe not that interested in your business?
Oh, sort of to reel them in as a potential customer?
Yes.
Again, I know this sounds boring, but from our side, it's always honesty. So it's more of a take it or leave it policy, whereas like they will ask you questions, and then we'll try our best to give all the answers. And if they don't seem to like our kind of because for BakedKL, even though we're a dessert store, we actually don't work weekends, which is quite the opposite for F&B, right? Because F&B would tally on for weekends to grab the sales, but for us, we're like, weekends, no, we don't want to work. So most of the time, we do have customers who insist on weekends and after working hours and things like that. So I try to be honest on what we can or we cannot do. So if the customers are willing to pay the price for the cake at odd hours or whatever, then so be it. But if they don't think that BakedKL is the brand for them, then they can go somewhere else. And which I'm also happy to suggest other bakers, because like I said, there's so many in the market, so not everyone is for you. And I'm also willing to suggest other bakers that can cater to them. Yeah.
No,
And
that's very
hopefully, like, they would appreciate that honesty, whatever it is, whether it's like suggestion about the cakes or trying to make a cake for them without certain ingredients, they would come back in the future.
Yeah, that is true. So because we were talking about all these bad customers, what about the good customers? How do you strengthen the relationships with the one that you want them to stay?
We usually would, I think the first step after their purchase, usually we would ask for a feedback. And then we'll give them sort of like a promo code to be used for the next purchase. And then usually after that, kind of like to strengthen the relationship is usually through newsletters. So what BakedKL does is sometimes, aside from the promotional updates and things like that, we would send love newsletters. It's more of a founder newsletter telling our customers on what's going on behind the scene. So for example, when COVID happened, we would tell them like, oh, prices is going up, and then we tell them how we were worried we're not able to pay for our staffs and things like that. Not a pity party newsletter, but it's more so that they're able to understand what's going behind the scene and understand if there are changes as a company or brand in the front face, that they would understand. That's the reason why we took certain steps. You know, that's why we had to downscale. That's why we had to change certain ingredients. So my customers who have been with me for a very long time appreciates those newsletters, and they kind of like sometimes reply and write back like motivational speeches, so to say, and that has been really comforting. And those kind of newsletters actually helps to strengthen my relationship with the customers.
Very nice. What about you, Larry?
Usually customers that like us, they will keep coming back and then turn into regular. And those regulars, they are at the end, they are always become our good friend. When they come, they will have maybe some extra ingredients inside, or have a drink with the Tauke, or like sometimes we have a special gift, and even we will visit to each other's shops. That's how we do our part, where in one of our house rules, the last house rules is, in case of raid, say we are good friends. So everyone that comes in Soon Heng, we welcome everyone, and then we always treat them as a friend. So because of you, when you have a relationship with your customers like a friend, usually that's where trust is built, and then you very easily they will support your business. Even like if you have new products coming up, or like you have any promotions, they will like, wow, support you, kakak. Or even to say, oh, if there's an election, we support you, you become MP, because they trust like that's our spirit. So the fun part of Soon Heng.
Yes, that's very unique to engage with them. So do both of you have any key tips for customer engagement that you would like to give to budding entrepreneurs?
For customer engagement, I think, not to say this is customer engagement, but I feel like it's very important for entrepreneurs to list down everything on your website or your WhatsApp or whatever channel that you're using to help with the customer engagement. So whenever customer asks something, because most likely customer will always ask something that you've already put on your website anyway. So when they ask, you can straight away respond quicker, share a link. And that also saves you, just in case something goes wrong down the line, you know that you've had that prepared to save your business because you've had that black and white, you know. A lot of people like to use WhatsApp for selling things. That's not my favorite channel. But again, if you have it on a website and an online shop or anything, even if you're doing business on WhatsApp, you can always link those important information like refunds, delivery, and have it black and white, so it will save you if something goes wrong with the customer. So,
yeah,
speeding up the process for customer engagement is what I would say.
From our Soon Heng experience, we always think that care for our customer, like how we actually chat with them through DM, even the first time customer or our long time member, we will always care of them. Like for example, they will tell us, oh, this week I have to cancel because I kena COVID. Then we will say, oh, very sorry to hear that. Please take care, drink more, you know, vitamin C and stuff. Then a few more days later, we will say, hey, how are you now? So we always think from their perspective and then care for them. Even the first time customer, they will feel that and they will become like very good friends. For example, there's one customer a few weeks ago. So she is from Alostar and her husband is a doctor. Due to COVID, he don't have a free time to take leave. And then ngam that week, her husband can get 2 days. So they travel from Alostar just to come to Soon Heng for the dinner. But then we are fully booked. So she told us, like, oh, I've been waiting to come like 2 years, COVID, and then I got no chance. Now is the only chance. Can you just give us a seat? And we say, okay, because you are from our staff, and then we respect your husband as a doctor, you know, contribute to the society. So we said, okay, we squeeze 2 tables for you. And she was like very happy. And when they dine, we even like serve house free drinks for them. And then the session turned out very memorable. Yeah, so that's how we do it.
So let's say I am a fresh new business entrepreneur, and I just set up my Instagram account, but I don't actually know how to, to interact using my own tone of voice. So how would you advise me as a young entrepreneur with no experience? What was like, how would you say, okay, this is what you need to do to talk to customers based on both of your experiences?
Go first, Larry?
Okay, yeah. I think the first important thing is don't try to hard sell. Don't try to just think of money. You want to sell a product, you want to tell people how good your things are, come and buy. No. It's actually tell your story, like, why you start to do this, what's your hardship, and then what you believe that what you provide is the best. You want to give people the best ingredients you have, the best atmosphere, service. Tell them the story, like tell them anything is exciting to upcome. Let them feel participated. Then they will follow. Only then they will follow. They will share your story. They will share your post to their friend. So that's where people will start to follow you.
I think it's important, like if you're starting off, for you to actually determine your voice. I don't think like you kind of need to match your product, which customer segment you kind of want to target, and finding your voice. I think you need to set it beforehand, but I don't think it's like a set in stone thing. I think after you try out maybe like several months, maybe you realize that that doesn't kind of work, then of course you're allowed to change and constantly see which market that responds to you the most. Yeah, because if you know Nando's, they have very good customer engagement. They're always like on top of the trends. They actually respond to like things that are happening, news that are actually coming out, and they strictly straight away do some marketing about it. So they're quite witty. So that's their voice, like humorous and witty and sarcastic. And that itself, the voice, is what makes them like it's kind of like their unique selling point as well as for the brand. So I think if you're just starting out, especially depending on what your industry is and what you're selling, I think your voice would be the most the strongest asset to kind of like make you very different within the industry, especially when everything is so saturated, you know, especially with pandemic. The first year of pandemic, everyone was doing was into F&B actually. So I think the competition is always really high, especially online. So having a voice that separates you from the rest is important.
Well, thank you for both of your advice. Your story and your voice is something I will definitely keep in mind for my business. So let's move on to the next one. What about feedback? How important is customer feedback to both of you?
It's important, but I don't, at certain point, I don't ask too many times. If there are new products, I will constantly ask. But several after a while, I won't ask anymore. For me, because BakedKL is quite personal, and we always test amongst our close customer group and family and friends first before we sell it to our customers. I try not to ask feedback too much because it kind of upsets me a bit, especially when I first started out. So I stopped asking after a new product launch. You ask, and after that you just don't ask again, because that can sometimes throw you off thinking that you need to change every step of the way, when actually you don't need to, because food is very personal to everybody and very subjective. So usually if I get a negative feedback, I will acknowledge it as it's not to that person's liking, but it doesn't mean that that food is bad. Yeah. And if it's, yeah, I think that's about it.
Larry?
Yeah. So when our members came to Soon Heng, every time after session, after they eat, we will always ask before they leave. So we say, okay, please don't tell me about good things. Tell me about the bad things. We want to hear any bad things that you think we can improve. So from there, they will tell, oh, the beef maybe it's a bit, like rough this time. Maybe the soup is quite salty, and the drinks is quite sweet. So even like when they eat during their session of like eating, you say, hey, I want medium rare for the beef, but turns out it's very tough. You'll say, okay, we will change a beef until you satisfied. Like really take to the kitchen, cook a new one for them. So we appreciate honest communication with the nice good feedbacks. We don't say it negative, but with those feedbacks only can make us improve. So we have to adapt to that.
So there's two different contrasts on how both of you deal with negative feedback. What about your own personal experience? Let's say if a customer is being super unreasonable, how did you handle that experience if you had any unreasonable customers?
After 10 years of serving customers, I can tell you that I think I live in a bubble where I think every customer is like me, like chill, laid back. You know, if I eat in the restaurant, kalau if like ada rambut or something, I'll be like, oh, okay. And I just continue eating because I'm like super chill as a consumer. So,
Yeah.
but after like 10 years, 10 years, there's so many different types of consumers. One that will accuse you of stuff, one that will lie. I think it's more like case by case basis. And for me, all I know is that customer always want to be heard. So we always acknowledge that frustration, whatever it is. And then we try to offer them some, depending on cases, but in general, we try to sort of give one or two options of what they would like. We do have like written policy that's stated and we follow that through, and they can have an option whether to pick A or B. Worst case scenario is always just depending on the customer's attitude, behavior. If it goes really bad, then it's always better to just fully refund than to have to deal with, I don't know, worst case scenarios. So it's better to refund, and whether she wants to come back or not, it's for me, it's fine. It just means that it wasn't the right match. But I've had customers that say like my 6-inch cake wasn't 6-inch, and like insisted that it wasn't 6-inch, and like I just, no matter how many times I tried to persuade her, we don't have any cake smaller than 6-inch. She was like, no, I bought another cake from somewhere else at 6-inch, and that 6-inch is bigger than your 6-inch. Like, how could 6-inch be different from like another store to another store, and 6-inch is a universal 6-inch, Like, yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, you get all sorts of customers, and you just have to like stay calm, try your best to like listen to them first before proposing whatever sort of compensation that you think is best. Larry, I want to hear your stories.
Because like just at the very first visit, we feel because of our the way of engagement, so we filtered out those customers that we don't want, and then people who like us, they will stay. But we do encounter some special incident time where customers, they will get frustrated. For example, actually this Chinese New Year, we have one case. We sell Yisang order by delivery. So at that time, there's one lady, she never came to Soon Heng before, and then she wanted to try. So she said, okay, our family want to have this Yisang at 6 o'clock for reunion dinner. But at that time, the rain is so heavy, the driver, we can't get any driver. And then she said, okay, in front of my house, the road is very jammed. So you must come 1.5 hours before. So you must schedule like 4:30 or so. But the person that taking this order is not me. It's another contact. So there's miscommunication between us in Soon Heng. And we scheduled out the Yisang at around 5:30. And unfortunately, there's no driver pending. So at last, the driver carried our Yisang away. 8 o'clock only reached her house. And between this situation, I texted her. I said, "Oh, very sorry. Oh, the driver is not here. Heavy rain." Then she said, "She said, oh, I want to refund. My family is so hungry, and then we all waiting for your Yisang. Better you refund. I don't want your Yisang already." Then I said, "Miss, I understand this delivery fees around 20 plus." I said, "Something way for you." You just enjoy the yisang. It will worth your wait. So at 8 o'clock, she received the yisang. 10 o'clock, she texted me, Larry, it's worth the wait. So with the engagement, because when she's so frustrated, we must try to calm down the customer first, and then think of a way that can do win-win situation, like how to solve the problem for them. And 10 o'clock, she said, oh, it's worth the wait. The fun part is the whole 15 days of CNY, at the end, she ordered the most yisang from us. Yeah. And even on the last day, 15 of CNY, she said, I want to have your yisang before the end of CNY. So you can tell that we do the delivery waiving like 20 plus ringgit, but at the end the sales return is 700 ringgit. So sometimes this kind of engagement is very important, like how you have to soften them first and you give them solution.
Oh, that's a very touching story, Larry. Thank you both for sharing your stories. So, because this is for Larry, especially because a bad situation suddenly becomes a good situation. So, how has like a good customer engagement actually benefit you or your business?
Do I go first or you go first?
Oh, sorry. I was
think-
thinking that was a follow-up question for Larry, so I was quiet. It's okay, Larry, you can go first.
A good customer engagement can build trust, just like I said before, and they will promote your brand through words of mouth. They will tell their friend, they will promote it. So if you treat one person, your customer, good enough, they will become your advertisement. They will tell 10 people, 10 people will tell another 10 people, become 100, and then 100 will tell 100 more. Then your customers will grow, they will keep coming back. So how we engage with them is very important.
Yeah, I agree also. A lot about trust, and again, being straight to the point and being honest and being transparent, I think has helped. Good customer service also, respond timely, always updating, especially, like finding runners being late, things like that. I think if you approach the customer politely with good mannerism, most likely they will still come back to you, whatever the circumstances of their purchase is. I think good customer service and engagement is always sort of like the top things that would make them come back.
That is very true. So coming on to our last question before we move on to the pre-submitted questions and Q&A. The final question, what do you wish customers knew before they interacted with you?
That they actually read up about us first. And also like, they read up about us first and have time to actually browse. Because we're just mainly online, we don't do any marketing, sort of any traditional marketing like Facebook ads. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So there isn't sort of like we're not Nestle, where people are like, okay, I know Nestle, this is BakedKL, so they don't know. So I wish they would take the time to sort of browse through, because most of the inquiries that come in, of course, like we will answer, but 80% of the questions are things that they could have read it online, and they could have it could have influenced their purchases faster, whereas to wait for a WhatsApp message that could be outside working hours. So I wish they would know us better also as a company and what we do, because sometimes we run campaigns and we get like for example, 10% goes to this charity, or this 10% goes to this charity. So sometimes we do that, and we have been doing it since 2013. But I sometimes get negative messages about the fundraising campaigns that we do, saying that we're selective or that we're racist or things like that. So it's really disheartening, because you wish they would read up about you so they know more of the backstory of what your company is all about before they make any sort of judgments and things like that.
Yeah. Larry?
So yes, Soon Heng part. Yeah. For customers, we always think that they don't ask silly questions. Please don't ask silly questions. As Soon Heng, we even plan like silly questions are 10 ringgit charge. Yeah. If there's information, please read only. You come and talk to us. And then there's one thing different from the way we do with BakedKL, is that we always reply very late. Maybe few days only reply. Then yeah, they get used to it lah. Because but that's the way how we do. So but we will just be ourselves, and then they will know when we post our story. We do some very humorous or like sarcastic Q&A session, so they know our character. That's very important. Always be ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you both for sharing that. So we'll move on to the pre-submitted questions now. So the first question, is it always the slogan of "the customer is always right"? How can one turn an instance of the customer being wrong in a win-win situation?
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I have never mentioned that customer is always right. I've never said that. I never believed that. Even before I started a business, I don't think customer is always right. I do believe customer has a right, but they also have a responsibility as the consumer buying your product or your restaurant. They have to read information first. They have to know what they're buying, right? Same as seller also has some right and responsibilities, but I don't believe customer is always right. And
Right.
like I mentioned, kind of like the win-win situation is to make sure that you have your TNC ready for you. So just in case if anything happens, you have it there in black and white, and they not to say they can't do anything about it, but meaning it will help you rather than you're gonna get all flustered. And then sometimes when you start a business, you tend to sort of like want to please people because you already start, right? You want sales, you want customers, you want people to get to know you. So sometimes when you just start off, you tend to be flustered and just say like, okay, I'm going to refund. Okay, I'm going to, you're like sacrificing so much. So I think from the ground up, you have to set something for yourself to make sure that you save your business, but also to deal with certain situations like that.
Fully 100% support, Lisa. Customer is not always right. Yeah, and then we totally do like Isa mentioned. You always have your own principle of doing your brand. So that's how you are different from other brands, or like how the way people do. So maybe that will turns out that's the point they like you, your customers. So they are not always right. Even we have to educate them sometimes, like how to being polite, being gentle, being manner, behave well. Yeah, we always will talk about that. Those very annoying don't come.
I just want to add, like, I think like overseas, right, they kind of have very strong customer, like you can't harass people at their business premises. Like in the UK, they would have like a big slogan of like, oh, you cannot harass people or else you'll be escorted out. But I think in Malaysia, it's very much customer is the king. And I think we need to change the mindset a bit. Like, no, it's not always the king. Customer is not always right. So that's why you have all these like rude people thinking that once they enter your premise, they can do anything they want because somehow it's like we have to serve them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will be like very rude to the waiter or waitress. That's not the way how we should behave as a human.
Definitely. So moving on to the next question. Do you get inspiration to create new products based on customer feedback?
Yes and no. For me, I feel like it's easier to sell what I like and what my close circle likes. Because if I sell something that maybe my customer have suggested, but I don't particularly like the flavor combination, because my voice is a bit like, okay, we have to be honest with certain things, and it's hard for me to sell that. So it has to be something that I sort of approve in order for me to sell it well, because then I will able to like describe it properly. I will able to say how it tastes like, and it all comes naturally. So I mean, we do take suggestions, but not necessarily make it all the way to testing.
So at Soon Heng, we sometimes we will open some discussion like, now there's a new one. What is your expectation? Like, what do you want to try? Or New Year is coming. Do you want any sort of CNY gift, cookies, stuff? So they will just comment, what they want. Yeah, and then from there we will see like how the market responds, and then what they want. So from there we can choose and then provide. We can give the best, but not all the time. Tauke is always right, not customer.
Okay, so thank you both for your insights, Larry and Isa. So this is Larry and Isa from Soon Heng and BakedKL for sharing their experiences at Tauke Talks, brought to you by RYSE and supported by Citi Foundation. So the key things that I would like to bring up that they both talked about was definitely customer is not always right. The Taukes are always right because you need to protect your business values and core, and more importantly, protect yourself. And also to engage with customers, to always be yourself and to tell your story and your voice, to engage with them and make sure that they can get your trust. So I hope you all feel inspired and motivated and learn new skills and knowledge from both Isa and Larry's sharing today. So if you have enjoyed the session, do sign up for our next Tauke Talks about hiring experiences with Sharon and Michelle from Creators Hub and Erica from Ace Adventures Studios. That is happening for the 27th of May at 8 p.m. You can register here at bit.ly/TT hiring experiences. And if you would like to learn more about the Tauke Talk sessions, do connect with us at Tauke Talks on Facebook and Instagram. And to find out more about RYSE and our upcoming programs, do like and support us on our social media accounts. So I would like to also note our programs that are happening is the RYSE Online 2022, where it's a free online course that will talk about the basics of entrepreneurship and you can sign up at bit.ly/RYSE Online 2022. And who knows, maybe your business idea or pitch when you join the course may be famous one day. We also have our current program that we just recently launched this week called Kecil Kecil Cili Padi. This is a comic competition where the theme is on youth employment, where you can draw your story through comics and maybe win up to 3,000 ringgit. You can find out more about this competition on our Instagram or Facebook pages, or even our website at bit.ly/kecil cili padi. At Tauke Talks, Facebook and Instagram, and on our YouTube RYSE program, where you can rewatch this webinar. And also don't forget to connect with our Taukes by supporting them on their social media accounts, as seen on the screen. So once again, thank you so much for joining me today, Iza and Larry. I hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you so much for having me. And nice meeting you,
Thank
Larry.
you. Yes, nice meeting you. I enjoyed the session a lot.
Yes, thank you so much and have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Audio Jungle.